What's going on, everybody? Welcome to episode 22 of Breaking Bats presented by Not For Long Media. I am your host, Brian O'Grady, and with me, as always, my co-host, Justin Ayers. J.A., how you doing over there in your Bud Norris shirt, man?
It's a great day to be in Maryland. It's a great day to be an Orioles fan. The Orioles have just ripped off 9 straight wins for the first time since 1999, which is funny. And I looked it up. They're the second team in history to lose 110 games in one season and then have a 9+ game winning streak the next season. And I can't stop smiling. The Orioles are so much fun to watch. I was completely wrong about them. I thought they're going to be equally, if not as bad, or equally, if not like worse than they were last year. But this team's got heart. And who says they can't get a wild card? Who says it? Not me.
You never know. It could happen. There's plenty of spots this year.
That's what I'm saying. So if they do decide to trade Trey Mancini, I will be completely different mood wise. So talk to me. I think it's the August 2nd trade deadline. Let's circle back and touch base around then and see what happens.
Sounds like a plan. I do think, I think I saw somewhere they have a better record than the White Sox, maybe, or something. They're very close.
Yeah, they have a better record than a lot of teams with a lot of guys on it, and their payroll is less than Max Scherzer.
Somebody might have picked the White Sox to go to the World Series, but we're not going to name names. Anyway, but moving on. What do we got today?
We have a lot of stuff. One thing I did want to clean up this past week, I got bored and I made a starting 9 of guests. And I went back and I didn't really put like that much thought into it about like the lefty righty matchup, but Eric Hosmer can't play shortstop. So I apologize because he's a lefty and I Googled it and there's only been 5 left-handed throwing shortstops in the history of baseball. And they were all like in the 1890s.
Who's to say Haas couldn't do it on our team? I don't know. We could if we really need it. I'm trying to think of who else played shortstop. I don't really know who we got. Maybe Frage could slide over and play shortstop, but
That's the thing. I don't think he's played shortstop in the big leagues. Maybe we could have Frazier play shortstop and then Hosmer play second. Could a lefty play second?
Haas can do whatever he wants. I'll stick him out there. Screw it.
Ben Woods is the catching tandem. It still makes me laugh.
They love that. They thought that was hysterical. I was cracking off when I saw that too, because that's classic. We need to get them back on here with the two of us, because that was the first episode and I did by myself because you had something with work back then, and so you didn't really get to hang out with them. I would love for that to see that interaction. I think you'd really enjoy it, and I know they would too. So one of these times, later down the line, we'll circle back and we'll get them on for round 2, because they're a hoot, man. They're great.
The biggest compliment I can give them is the fact that I listen to their show sometimes on like the Audacity app or whatever. And I'm not a Padres fan and I don't live in California. So that's the highest compliment I can pay somebody, is that I listen to your sports talk show. They're
good, man. They're the true, like, good people, really love them, but they are legitimately good radio. They're funny. They really are. They have good, chemistry. God, couldn't think of the word. Good chemistry. They're awesome. I mean, that's why their fan base is huge out there, but they already know that. Anyway,
when they have the one guy read, I think it's Ben, when they have him read like classic hip hop, like rap lyrics and like his newscaster voice, it cracks me up every single time.
They're like polar opposites of everything, like how it's all worked out. It's just great. And now our other buddy, Adam Jones, is on there like weekly now. He comes on and talks like once a week for a while.
Yeah, I do listen to those whenever they tweet that out. So shout out Ben and Woods.
Moving on. What do we got? What are we going with first?
The news. We have the home run derby and the AllStar game rosters were announced. The derby's going to have an 8-man field so far. We know the following guys will be in it. We have Kyle Schwarber, who was the 2018 runner-up to Bryce Harper, looking for revenge, little storyline. Pete Alonso, the polar bear. He won it in 19 and in 21, so he's going for his 3rd straight. I don't know. It seems I'm not a big fan of guys being in it every single year. It's like, let somebody else win it, Pete. Maybe stop trying to put people in the hospital and maybe let somebody else try to win the home run derby. Ronald Acuna Jr. is in it. Looking forward to that. He leads the league in average home run distance. So shout out him. Albert Pujols is 42 years old. This is his 5th derby. And what are we going to get? I don't know, but it'll be some cool storylines. And then Juan Soto, my guy, who had the memorable swing off against Shohei Ohtani last year's Derby, he will be in it as well. So we got 3 spots left. We got one guy that's 110 years old. And I don't know, when you look at this field so far, what do you like and what do you not like?
Oh man, Schwarber kills the ball. Looking forward to that again. Well, I like watching him hit. Alonso, I get what you're saying with he's been in it a ton, but he's also won, so I feel like he kind of should have an opportunity to defend the crown, and he obviously really enjoys it and takes pride in it. So, and I know he wins some money when he wins it, and he gets I think money goes to the charity of their choice too. So there's incentives there. I get him being in it, and he's good at it. So whatever. Acuna, awesome. Love to see it in there. He's electric. When I played against him first in Double A, I'm like, who the fuck is this guy? And yeah, he's been since then. Didn't know his name at all. He came up, and I'm like, this guy's like the best player I've ever seen. I don't know who this is, but wow. Yeah, he hit a ball in Mississippi, which is a graveyard in the middle of summer, so hot off. Tyler Mahle, who is now one of the better pitchers for the Reds, and he hit it like straight up. And I'm like, oh, that's a pop up, and it went out by like 100 feet. I'm like, what? It was crazy. So yeah, he's great. Pujols, I like him in the Derby. I think that's cool. I know we're gonna talk about this a little bit in a minute, but I think it's a fine little farewell. He's been amazing. It'll get people to watch more. I like it, whatever. Dude, these swings are no joke. Doing a home run derby, taking all those swings is like tiring. So honestly, I'm curious to see how he holds up doing it, because it's
young
a
man's
lot.
game.
Soto, love watching him hit. He was crushing the ball last year or whatever it was. Yeah, last year. So happy to see that again too. The other 3 spots will definitely be interested to see who the last 3 are.
It's at Dodger Stadium this year, right? The All-Star game in Derby?
Yes, Dodger Stadium.
We need a Dodger in there. Yeah, we need
that
somebody.
Would make sense.
I don't know who. Bellinger's done it, I think, before. Freddie Freeman, that might be a cool one. I don't know. We've seen somebody from the hometown Dodgers, I feel like, to get in there.
I don't think Freddie's going to do it. Freddie, I'm dead serious. I'm sure Freddie, if he wanted to, would put most balls over the fence. Freddie's BP consists of him trying to hit line drives at the shortstop the entire time. So I don't know if he wants to do a home run derby.
Is that like the opposite of Ichiro, where in a game he hits line drives, but in BP hits homers, and Freddie just does
listen, and it's I've done it too. I've done both ways. It's at the end of the day, when you're taking BP on the field, you're trying to gear your swing for the game. So for different guys, that means different things. So for Freddie, if you watch him hit, you can see it. Like, he's just inside of everything, and that's why he drives the ball so well to left center field. And that's why he's such a good hitter in general. But that's what works for him. Some guys will do that earlier in the rounds of BP, and then last round or 2 they'll let it fly. At the end of the day, dude, 95% of the guys in major leagues, if they're trying to, will put balls over the fence. Doesn't mean you're going to do it like these guys can in the home run derby, but like in normal BP, most guys can do it. But yeah, I don't know, Mookie. I'd like to see Mookie do it. I'm sure Mookie could hit some good ones, but we'll see.
I like it. So going back to Pujols, though, some people are not very happy that Albert is doing both the Derby and the All-Star game. There's a guy on Twitter. His name's Ryan M. Spader, who's a baseball author and an analyst. He had a hot take. He said, quote, Pujols is a legend, but he doesn't deserve to be an all-star, and he doesn't deserve to be in the home run derby. And that he went on to say that he thinks this year's is going to be fixed like 2001's was, talking about the all-star game when Ripken won the MVP, even though he was ancient. That's kind of a hot take. There's some parts of it I agree with. I'm not like the biggest fan of like him being in the derby. I thought him being in the all-star game is cool because they created a spot specifically for him and Miguel Cabrera. They called the legacy spots. So they didn't take anybody else's. That would be my gripe, is if you put these guys in there. Pujols has 5 homers, and it'd be weird if like he took, I don't know, somebody who's actually good spot. But I don't know. What do you think of him doing both the All-Star game and the Derby?
I agree that that they're not taking somebody else's spot is huge. Obviously, Miguel Cabrera and Pujols have been, I mean, just unbelievable players for a long time. I think it's cool to give this kind of send off. Baseball's the kind of like the last All-Star game that's like an actual game. You know, like the Pro Bowl, get out of here. The NBA All-Star game is just like, I don't know, a scoring I mean, they don't even really play. It's just kind of whatever. NHL kind of has a cool concept going on now, but baseball is the last one that's, I feel like, is legitimately a game because you can't really half-ass play baseball. You can't, you know, it just doesn't work that way. So glad they're not taking somebody's spot because I've seen other, it's, let me backtrack. It's a cool way to get some more eyes on the game, some more people into it to see, oh, Pujols, and, you know, we created this for this. The home run derby, little extra spot with him. I think that's fine too. I think that's, again, another cool way to get people more interested in it. I've seen things like I think Rosenthal was saying that it should be Kershaw versus Ohtani to start the All-Star game. And I'm like, to me, that is such bullshit. Like, I don't care as a player and as players, they don't give a fuck about it would be so cool and people could watch this for that matchup. Like, no, Shane McClanahan, who's my buddy, has been unbelievable this year. Now, Shane is gross and has phenomenal stuff and is young, and I'm sure he's going to have a great career and pitch great for many years. But this might be his only opportunity where he deserves to be that all-star starter. It's same with Sandy Alcantara from the Marlins. Like, I don't care who it is. And there's other guys, you can make arguments for that they could deserve to be the starter. But like, when guys are pitching that good, it should be them. It shouldn't matter about Ohtani or Kershaw or the biggest names. It's because you never know. This might be their only opportunity. I doubt it will, but it could be their only opportunity. So as long as they're not taking spots away from guys who deserve it and who've earned it this season, because that's what it's about. It's the best players this year. I'm fine with it all. End rant.
That's a great one.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean, Kershaw's having a great year, but I don't think his numbers touch. He doesn't touch, you're right, Sandy Alcantara or I'm hashtag McClanistans over here. But yeah, I having the all LA team guys, like, I don't know. I feel like we could probably do without that. So,
yeah, I get it. I get the concept, but I just don't think it's right because, and I shouldn't say those guys don't deserve it because you can definitely make cases that they deserve it, but I don't think they're the best option for this year. And if that's what it should be about, it should be about this year. And in my opinion, it should be Shane and it should be Alcantara for sure. I
agree. The other thing I wanted to bring up in regards to the All-Star game was there are some notable guys left off the All-Star game roster, which made me sad a little bit. I have three of them that I saw that I think were my biggest snubs. I have Josh Bell of the Nationals. That's not just because I'm a Nationals fan. He's hitting .304 this season. I mean, as a first baseman who hits for power, he does it all. Like, I know first base is traditionally a deep position in both leagues, so it's understandable that a first baseman would get left off, but I don't know. I feel like they probably could have made a spot for him. The other one was your AL Cy Young pick, Kevin Gausman. 2.86 ERA this year. He has the fifth best strikeout rate in the AL, second lowest walk rate. And I feel like it's easier to put an extra pitcher on there, or it's easier to have good pitchers on there. I don't know who was checking that. Maybe somebody forgot about Kevin Gausman because he's north to the border now. But yeah, I don't know why he was left off. And the other one was Ty France, the Mariners. He leads the AL for first baseman with an .851 OPS and a .310 average. Again, first base, no love. I don't know. What do you think?
The one that, I mean, first of all, those guys all deserve to be on there. The one, Gausman, when I saw he was an all-star, I could not even remotely believe that. That was like a no-brainer that he'd be an all-star. Bell's having a great season. Probably deserves it too. I don't know who the other first basemen are. Who are they? Freeman, probably. Whatever.
I'll get stats on that.
France should absolutely be on there too, in my opinion. I mean, I believe it's Vladdy Guerrero Jr. in that one, who having a nice season. But I mean, Ty France was like the best hitter in the big leagues for a stretch there, and he got hurt. And it's going back to the thing I was saying about Shane and just the being an all-star in general is like you believe and assume that these guys are going to have great careers and they're going to be right there every single year. But sometimes it just doesn't go that way for whatever reason, or you get hurt, or like this could be his chance to be a starter in the All-Star game, or at least an All-Star. And now he's not because I don't know, his name's not big enough. Like, and if that's the reason, that's bullshit.
So I looked it up in the NL. The NL first base starter is Goldschmidt. Obviously, he might end up winning MVP.
Yeah.
America's first baseman, Paul Goldschmidt. People forget that. And I think, what was the other one I just saw on there? For NL reserve first baseman, it's CJ Cron from the Rockies is on there, who's, he's hitting almost 300 with like 20 something tanks. All right. That's probably fair. But yeah. And then the pitcher thing, you're right. I have no idea why Kevin Gausman was left off there. That's insane. So no
it's
love.
Tough, man. It sucks. Yeah.
You know what? But it will show them, because at the end of the year, he will have that chip on his shoulder from not being an all-star and a pitch his way to another or to an AL Cy Young. So
there you go.
Who's laughing now? All-star committee voters. So that is those are our AL and NL All-Star team roster snubs. Next up, we have the Joe Musgrove Inaugural Guest Performance of the Week. And I want to give a special shout out to recent guest of the podcast, Rays Josh Lowe. So they put him in the leadoff spot for the first time last week against Boston. 2 for 5, 2 doubles, a run, and RBI. But they kind of mix it up in Tampa. I didn't realize this because I didn't really look at their lineup this closely. They don't have like a set leadoff guy. They bounce some guys around. It's like Josh, and then some days it's Yandy Diaz. Like, do you remember like kind of like the lineup construction when you were in Tampa? Is that kind of their thing where they don't have set leadoff guys?
Yeah, they definitely shift guys around, whatever the matchup, they like, or however they determine that they're not afraid to put guys there if they think these things go well together. I think they have guys who are, probably at the top of that lineup for the most part, or whatever it is, but they definitely are not afraid to mix it up and throw guys in there. I think Josh was telling us when he was on the podcast that he was hitting 7th or 8th most of the time, and then he came in the one day and he was penciled in and hitting 3rd or 4th, and Cashy was messing with him like, "Don't make me look like an idiot." And I think he homered that day or whatever. So yeah, that's what they do, man.
Do guys kind of like having set spots in the lineup? Like, I remember like the Orioles used to have like their set, like everybody knew, hey, I always hit 3rd. I always hit 4th, like that kind of thing. Do guys like that?
I think so. Yeah. I think your everyday guys, I think it's just nice to know where me personally, do I like just basically being like, yeah, I hit 2nd or 3rd or whatever. Yeah. It's nice to just, you don't have to think about it or whatever, but at the end of the day, it doesn't make a huge difference, but I just think there's that comfortability, and you just get used to kind of like the routine of where you are in the lineup. It's hard to explain.
That's what I would think. And also, I guess like the other thing is like you only technically lead off the game once. So it's like,
yeah,
I guess batting leadoff is cool for some, but I could see how it's not that big of a deal.
Yeah. And I'm sure managers and front offices like now deep dive into it more of like lineup construction and exactly how it works out. And as players, we probably just look at it and we're like, fuck, we're hitting 8th or whatever it is, but yeah, it's nice to just stay in one spot, and there you're there.
Creatures of habit. That's what I always figure. All right, next up we have, we're going to keep the same segment from last week or from 2 weeks ago. We're going to do the Fudging Awesome Moment of the Week. And Brian, who's it brought to us by?
Brought to you by our sponsor, the original Fudge Kitchen. That's Fudge Kitchens with an S.com, making sweet treats and fudge. It's the best. I can't wait to be back in America so I can order some, because their Instagram kills me every time they post. for our Philly and Jersey Shore listeners, they have locations in Stone Harbor, North Wildwood, Ocean City, and Cape May. If you're down there, check them out. It is the best summertime treat that you can have. That is the original Fudge Kitchen, and you can order from Fudge Kitchens with an S.com. They're shipping all over the country.
All right, Fudging Awesome Moment of the Week this week. I saw this on Twitter, and I thought it was really, really cool. So there's an 11-year-old kid named Tommy Morrissey. He went viral because he has one arm. He was born missing most of his right arm, but that hasn't slowed him down. He was in like an 11U tournament in Cooperstown, which I think maybe, have you participated in that tournament before?
Yeah, I believe that's the one.
Yeah, which, shout out you. I mean, that was the one where you had the derby up there with Bryce Harper?
Yep. And our career paths went a little different after that, but here we are.
It all comes full circle. But this is cool. Tommy's got one arm, but this guy hits missiles. I think he had a game where he had 2 home runs. His first game, like first at bat of the game, cranked one opposite field. And then the other one, he just demolished to the pool side. Again, he has one arm. And he's super cool. He's been on like HBO and Ellen and Golf Channel because he's also a fantastic golfer. I think his Twitter handle might even be like Tommy Golfs or something like that. But yeah, I just thought this was super cool. Like, remember, was it Jim Abbott, the pitcher that had one hand? So kind of shades of that. Yeah.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's really cool for him. Love seeing that. Love seeing him out there. I mean, that's super impressive. That's really cool. That tournament's awesome. I'm sure he's having a blast up there. It's just the way they do it up there is really cool. So I'm sure he's having a great time hitting all these homers and getting to experience everything at Cooperstown.
Could you hit a home run if you only had one arm on the bat?
No chance. This kid, that's phenomenal.
Yeah. It looks insanely hard. I think isn't there like a drill that maybe some people work on where you like use like the one arm to use like the follow through, but I can never. Yeah.
No chance though.
Can't imagine trying to hit opposite field home runs with one arm. This kid's insane. So shout out our guy, Tommy Morrissey. All right. Last but not least, we have our top 5 for this week. This week, we're going to be doing, in honor of the Home Run Derby, which we just talked about, we're going to be doing the top 5 players you would most want to see compete in a Home Run Derby. And so our only stipulation for this week is these guys can't have been in a Home Run Derby already. So it's all fresh guys. It's like your dream Home Run Derby lineup. So I'll start us off with number 5. I have Christian Walker, Orioles legend Christian Walker. So he's got 21 bombs this year. And I looked, it's like StatCast has all these really cool nerdy stats that I went through. He's top 10 in the league in total barreled baseballs. And he kind of gives me under the radar vibes like a Trey Mancini last year, where a guy who's not a household name comes in and just goes to like the final round. So that is number 5. Number 4, I'm going to go with O'Neal Cruz, exit velocity king from the Pittsburgh Pirates. This guy, everything he does is electric. And you can't tell me that he wouldn't hit 50 in that total derby. It would be insane. Number 3, I have Jorge Soler. Again, going back to the nerdy stats, he's 6th highest exit velocity in the big leagues with a ball he hit at 117.6. Guy hits tanks. Brian knows this firsthand as he watched him in spring training hit a missile over his head. So Jorge Soler deserves to be in a derby at some point. Number 2, I don't know how this man has never been in a derby to this point, but it's Mike Trout. I thought he didn't qualify for this list because I would have bet you money he's already done one before. Hasn't. Don't know why. But we need to see the king Mike Trout in there. And then last but not least, number 1, an under the radar guy for most of the people in like the national spotlight, but Yordan Alvarez. This guy leads the league in average exit velocity, hard hit percentage. He's just crushing the ball in Houston, got that big new contract. So I would pay money to watch Yordan Alvarez compete in a home run derby. What do you think?
Those are some really good ones. We have 2 in there that are, I have 2 that are in there the same as you. And I didn't even think of Trout, which is crazy that I didn't even think of Trout, but maybe I was thinking he was in it already. I'd love to see him do it too. Those are definitely some good ones, man. O'Neal Cruz is another very, very interesting one. I'm sure, he's gigantic. So I'm sure that would be, he's so like long and lanky.
Yeah,
that he just whips. Like it is impressive. I'd like to see him just hitting BP like that. And then Christian Walker, I was saying to you before we started recording, is my guy from back in high school. Grew up in the same area, played against him all throughout high school. He's a year older than me. His senior year, he was MVP instead of me. see walk. So great dude, can really hit, got power. So I love that one too. Under the radar, that'd be cool. My 5, start with number 5 is Luke Voigt. Would love to see Luke get in there. I'm sure he can hit some good BP homers on. He's kind of like a showman too. I feel like he would do well in the whole home run derby atmosphere with his sleeves way up there and his chest out. I think it would be cool. My number 4 is Jorge Soler, like you said. I mean, he just kills the ball. You saw the homer in the World Series last year. I mean, that guy does serious damage. Would love to see him do it. My number 3, Joseph Votto. I think he would be great in there. Same thing, because he would take it serious, but he's also a showman too. So it would be really good. And his BP, dude, I mean, he's got juice. And this was in 19 before he reinvented himself into what, his power hitting style now. So he's probably killing balls, dude. He used to sit there and he would just be like trying to hit balls to left field. He like hit it and like be getting ready for his next swing. And I'd be looking and I'm like, how the fuck is that ball going over the fence? Like, it's unbelievable. I mean, he's a strong dude. He would be fun to watch. My number 2, Yordan Alvarez. That's like a no-brainer. He's got to be in it, man. He kills the ball. You already said all those stats. He's low-key one of the best hitters for sure in the major leagues. Number 1, Fernando Tatis Jr. I mean, Toddy, dude, is phenomenal. The first time I met Toddy in the Dominican Republic, getting ready to play, he was coming off being hurt, and it was me and him taking BP. The balls they use down there don't go anywhere. They're like 100 years old, and the fields are just graveyards. So I'm like just getting back into hitting too, but I'm not hitting the ball like anywhere. He's coming in next to me, just killing balls. And I'm like, what the fuck? This guy's making me look like an idiot. And that was before his debut. And now fast forward, I mean, in San Diego last year, dude, when he would hit BP, he's got such great leverage, such great length, and he uses his long limbs really well. And man, he kills balls. He would put on an absolute show, which would be no surprise. So I'm sure one day when he's fully healthy and everything's feeling good, that he will do the home run derby. So those are mine. What do you think?
Well, now I'm pissed at myself because I didn't think of that one. That would be he would crush it at home run derby.
I didn't think of Trout, so we're even.
I'm just imagining if Joey Votto did the derby. Can you imagine the TikToks he would be doing on like the little coolers they have set out for the guys? Those would be electric.
No doubt. Yeah, he would kill it. It would be great.
Oh, now I can't wait for the home run derby. The only thing that would make it cooler is if Chris Berman would come back and do the back. I miss that.
Dude, the home run derby, I know, like all the old, it's just like the nostalgia of it all, I feel like, but the home run derby, man, is still, I think, is awesome. It's still a lot of fun to watch it.
Do you prefer the new system where it's like timed rounds, or do you miss like the 10 balls, the 10th being the gold ball?
Dude, when I think of the home run derby, what I really think of is Josh Hamilton hitting 1 billion home runs at Yankee Stadium. Like, I mean, it's just like electric. Like, I don't even, dude, he had to be so tired after that. I'm telling you, like, but it's just so cool. And, seeing the clips of like McGuire and those guys, and like, there's nothing like just watching these massive humans hit balls ridiculously far. It's just a lot of fun.
That 08 derby, people forget Justin Morneau won it. Everybody remembers.
He did.
Yeah.
And the other Bobby Abreu, Phillies, was hit like fucking 25 in the round 2, and fucking Hamilton hit 40. It was poor Bobby Abreu got ripped because Hamilton was just hitting all these homers, and poor Bobby was killing the ball before that, and then hit like 100 after the home run derby. So sorry, Bobby. Great player though. Bobby could really swing.
It messes people's swings up sometimes, right? Was it Giancarlo messed up his after 2017 or whatever?
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, if that's your only goal, it's definitely different. But I think like Soto last year was struggling a little bit prior, and then, or wasn't hitting homers or something. And then after like went off and kind of got him back. So you never know.
Yeah. Now I can't wait. The Derby is like one of my favorite because every other like sports league tries to do like the NFL does like the Pro Bowl skills competition, which nobody gives a shit about, where they're throwing balls through like glass plates or whatever. Yeah, and then the NBA is cooler, I guess, but nothing's better than the home run derby. It's like you said, there's no half-ass in it when it comes to baseball's all-star festivities.
Yeah.
So last up, before we get to our interview this week, we have a new sponsor of the podcast. So new sponsor alert. We're going to welcome on. Yep. Thank you. We have Som Sleep. This interview that you're about to hear is actually brought to you by our new sponsor, Som Sleep. So Som Sleep has beverages that are specially formulated to promote relaxation, maintain a normal sleep cycle, and support healthy sleep patterns. All you got to do is drink it 30 minutes before you're ready to go to bed. It helps you unwind after a long day. You're good to go. I had one last night. I had the sugar-free can before I went to bed. First of all, it tastes amazing. It doesn't like sometimes you think of these things. It's like, oh, medicine. No, it's amazing. It tastes awesome. And it was the best night's sleep I had in a long time. I didn't wake up 30 times like I usually do. We were talking about it. Like you've been a long time proponent of these guys.
Yeah, I first came across them when I was with Cincinnati. They had them and it's phenomenal. I mean, knocks you out and tastes seriously like, I've been saying it since then. The taste is, I would drink it as like a normal drink. If it was like an Arizona iced tea, I would crush these. So it tastes really good. When Colin said that they were, interested in coming aboard, I was like, that is awesome. It's something I know and something that I truly can like endorse.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh, they're so good, dude. So they come in the original flavor, which is 40 calories a can. The sugar-free, which is the one that I had, is only 10 calories for an entire can. And includes ingredients that are naturally found in your body, a healthy diet, and green tea. These ingredients help promote relaxation, provide your body with nutritional support for healthy sleep. It's non-GMO, it's FDA compliant, drug-free, vegan, gluten-free, allergen-free, non-habit forming, free of artificial colors, flavors, and preservatives. You're going to go to getsom.com. You're going to click shop and enter the code BATS at checkout. That is getsom.com. Enter the code BATS at checkout to let them know we sent you. Interview for this week. It's a buddy of mine that goes way back. Really excited. Just a stud high leverage relief pitcher for the Pittsburgh Pirates. We got Wil Crowe coming on. Brian, how much fun was it getting to talk to Wil Crowe? I feel like you guys really hit it off.
Yeah, man, he's an awesome guy. I didn't know him. This is, like you said, your buddy. Really turned into a really good pitcher though. And man, I had a lot of fun talking to him. I feel like we had a lot of similarities and things we've experienced. So it was just fun to talk about and laugh about some of those things. But man, yeah, it was a great interview and he's really doing well, man. I'm happy for him.
Yeah. Like, starting pitcher his entire career. This year in spring training, they moved him to the bullpen. He cut his ERA in half. It's just been a complete turnaround. I feel like the velocity's ticked up, which I didn't really talk about, but I feel like he's thrown a little harder on the gun this year. And like the 8th, 9th inning combination of him, and then when they bring on the Yinzer David Bednar to close it out, it's electric. And yeah, listen to our favorite part of the conversation is talking about like walkout songs. So stay tuned for that little nugget. They're electric. So yeah, let's send this over to our interview for this week with Pittsburgh Pirates relief pitcher Wil Crowe. All right, today joining us on Breaking Bats, it is one of my favorite people. It is Pittsburgh Pirates relief pitcher Wil Crowe. Wil, how are you, man? It's so great to see you again.
Good. How are you, man?
I'm really good. Yeah, like any day is a good day when I get to hop on a Zoom call with two like legitimately two of my favorite people on earth. So, so just a little quick like how I met Wil. It was in July of 2020. This was before he made his debut. He came on my podcast and he was super gracious with his time. And in August of his debut, I watched his debut outside the stadium because I wasn't allowed in. And it was super cool. And he hung out with me and my friend after the game for like 20 minutes. And ever since then, I've just been ride or die Wil Crowe. So this is cool having you back on a couple years later.
Yeah, I'm excited to be here. And man, that was great. I think that was only 2 years ago. But man, that is good to be back. And I'm glad you're doing well. And it's good to see you, brother.
Absolutely. That debut though, I mean, so I think that was game 2 of a doubleheader. What do you remember about like the lead up to that and just like what the day you found out that you were going to get the call?
Yeah. So 2020, I was behind the ball with everyone because I had COVID, and I think I told you that on the podcast last time. So I showed up to camp late, was at the alt site, just 8 a.m. grinding along, and the middle of summer, 20 minutes outside of Washington, 120 degrees every day. And pitched one afternoon, got the call, hey, we're going to have a doubleheader in a couple days and you're going to make your debut. Leading up, just a lot of them called the wife, called the mom. It's crazy talking about the debut. I was actually the road. So I pitched the bottom half first in National Park as the away. So my wife watched across the street from on top of the bar that was like, will only go. Luckily, she didn't know that we were the away team because we were in Nats Park. So like when I was pitching, if like I had given up a hit, the Nats people had to play like the cheering sound for the Marlins. So like I would like throw a pitch, it would be delayed, watch, and it'd start like the cheering noises. She'd be like, "Oh, something great happens." She'd start cheering up there, and then she'd watch, and it'd be like like, "What just happened?" Like really weird experience. It was great. It was a day I won't forget, and I think it's always a good time when you make a debut.
Yeah, I mean, it was super cool getting to watch it from even outside the stadium, I thought it was super cool. But going back a little bit, so like I read an article going back to like your numbers, because like I remember when I talked to you then, like you were like your number was like high 50s or something. But there was an article that was like your favorite number was like 37, but that was Strasburg's or something. What I'm curious, what's that like as a young guy coming up, where it's like you want to have a number and maybe it's blocked, or like when do you think guys get it like their first choice for numbers?
Yeah, I think when you're first getting in the big leagues, you kind of take what you're given. For me, 37 was not available with the Nationals. I think if you're a highly talented prospect, whatever, you're gonna get whatever you want. And I think speaking of Strasburg, I'm pretty sure he came up and got that immediately, and that's where he was at forever. And I think top prospects like your number one or number two prospect or top 100 prospect or top 10 draft pick, you're gonna get what number you want. But for me, I got 57. And you just stick with it. Hey, that's fine with me. It wasn't in the 70s, so I was like, whatever. And then I come to the Pirates and they gave me 29, and for now I'm totally fine with 29. It's low enough. It's a good number. I enjoy it, and I'm gonna roll with it. So.
I love that, Brian. What was that like for you? I mean, what did you have a number that you wanted? Were you not able to get it?
I've been 21 literally like my entire baseball career. It's all, I don't know. It's just always been my number. And when I debuted with the Reds, what was I? I think I was 34. So pretty solid number. Wasn't mad. Mike Lorenzen was 21, so that wasn't happening. And just kind of roll with that. And then with the Rays, after that, when I got traded to the Rays, I was 31. But going back, like even spring training is the biggest difference. Like my first big league spring training with the Reds, I was like 82 or something like that, And it's like you don't get a lot of respect when you're even if you're like starting the game, you get no respect as 82 in big league camp. But as soon as you that next time and you get a lower number, you get a lot more respect after that. So that's always nice. And with the Padres, man, I'm a little disappointed. I was number 5 and I was pumped to be a single digit. I don't know, like I never did that, and it felt cool. And then how did it happen? I was number 5, and then we traded for Snell, and Snell wanted Wil Myers' number that Will had worn forever. So, and Will's second choice of number was 5. So I was getting bumped, and he was going to give me something, and Snell like paid him for that number, and then Will kind of left me hanging there. So I'm still waiting on Will to buy me some Jordans or something. That's all I asked for. But yeah, I was a little disappointed when I lost number 5 that year. Three-way deal, I got bumped off. So, but it's all right. What are you gonna do?
Dang, yeah,
A little more time than I did.
Single digits are great. Some of them you just have to like figure it out because some of them are like baseball numbers, like 21, 34. Like those just feel like baseball. Yeah, 82. I mean, that's that like
82 is a tough one.
82 is tough. Yeah, that's so funny though.
Spring training. I've been lucky, in the major leagues to have good numbers. But yeah, the first spring training, 82. The zone was a little bit bigger when I was hitting with 82 on my back.
We always feel like the broadcasters too always have they joke like these guys' expense where it's like, oh, here's 97 up here. Yeah, it's just get no respect.
Dude, I'm out here fucking grinding. Leave me alone, man. It's a number.
Yeah.
Shit.
Literally. So, but like going back to you, Will. So like your debut, obviously that 2020 COVID year was so weird because there's no fans allowed. Are you the kind of person that was able to like manufacture your own energy and your own juice even when there wasn't a crowd out there with you?
No. It was really weird. I remember, so I pitched 3 games that year. The first one, obviously, you're going to get adrenaline because it is your debut and stuff. My next 2, one was in Atlanta and one was Miami. And Atlanta was like the pinnacle, right? I grew up 3 hours away. All my buddies are big Braves fans. I was like, wow, this is going to be a lot of fun, in division. And you get there and it was like crickets. It was like you couldn't hear a thing. Like you heard the trucks going by on the road out behind us. Like, this is awful. And then we get to Miami and they have so much white noise pumping through the dome that you can't hear yourself think. It's just like the whole time. And I'm like, joke, right? Like we're not playing baseball in here. So like for me, like I was grinding just to like get myself ready and get myself going. Probably didn't help that I was kind of hurt, but it was tough. I think anyone who like in 2020 was able to, really like have a great year and like do some things, it takes a special person because that was one of the toughest things, to do was just like get out there and grind and like knowing what was going on. Like it was tough. It was very tough.
Yeah. I mean, Brian, I think you've talked a little bit about that with your 2020 in Tampa and just how weird it was with all the weird piped in crowd noise. Is that the same kind of experience you think that you had back in 2020, trying to like, get amped up for a game where it's just white noise and fake crowds?
Yeah, dude, it was definitely weird. Like playing in Miami, that we played in probably all the same places that year because it was the East. The East Coast was how they did the travel schedule. It was like the East stayed in the East, So Miami was definitely a weird one. Playing at Yankee Stadium with nobody there, like just weird. But at the same time, dude, like it was you still had to do it because it mattered to everybody. It wasn't like if you struck out 4 times, they're like, oh, well, no one's there and it's COVID, who cares? I was still getting screwed from that. But Will put it perfect, man. It was just a weird fucking year. But Will, with your whole life dreaming of your debut and like thinking of what that moment was like, and I know what mine was like, and I was lucky. Reds and the Cubs is a huge deal in Cincinnati when that happened, so it was fucking packed when I debuted. It was nuts. I'm sure that's what you pictured when you, growing up and everything, were thinking of your debut. Was it a little disappointing to have, or just weird to have that be your debut with nobody, and like your family couldn't come see you? I mean, that had to be a little tough.
Yeah, it was tough. I think that's the best way to put it. You dream your whole life of doing it and you finally get that opportunity. It's like, you're still getting the jitters and you're still, nervous as all get out, and all that stuff. But it kind of made up for it, because the last year, 2021, I broke camp and my real debut with fans was opening day in Wrigley. And it was like, okay, this makes up for everything that I missed last year. Cause
Yeah.
fully packed opening day ceremonies, like first time. I was like, all right, I might have missed the good stuff last year with, the debut and stuff, but this is a very close second. Like this came up for a lot. So
That's awesome. I'm glad you got that. Yeah. Good
Yeah,
stuff.
I mean, that's a great point by Brian, where it's like, as a kid, you're in the backyard dreaming about playing in front of, 50,000 people screaming your name. And then you come up and it's August in DC and you see cardboard cutouts of people. And it's like, well, it's cool to be there. But, Will, one thing I'm curious about, and Brian can talk a little bit about this too, is the option game, where like you have these minor league options and the team kind of can like send you up, send you down. Like, how hard was that finding a rhythm those first couple years where the team could basically send you down to, was it the alternate site or AAA, kind of at a whim?
yeah, the option game is it's kind of sticky. A lot of teams play it. It stinks because I think for me last year, I think was a big year for me, confidence wise, and I think that's the number one thing is you can come up and you pitch well, or, you throw well in spring, or, whatever it may be, and you get options. So then you're like, well, do I belong, or am like, what's going on? Like, I feel like I did my job, or I'm doing my job, and then you get sent down, or, and it's just the business side of the game. Having more than one option left or being on your last option year is a blessing, but also a curse because, you're going to get sent down. And, if you don't have an option or you have one option, teams want to keep that option in case, you're not playing well. So, it stinks. I think confidence is a big thing because you're like, hey, do I belong? Do I not? But, it's a sticky thing and players hate it. And I think, this year with the 5 option thing max that we've added in the CBA, that helps out with some guys. You can get called up 5 times, but as soon as that 5th time they send you down, you go to waivers. I think that can help because you'd have guys, I think some guy in 2019 or maybe it was last year, maybe it was 2019. It was with the Rays, I think, or maybe the Mariners, and he got called up like 18 times in a year. Made like 15 starts, but only had 15 days in the big leagues or something. Like something crazy. Like it protects you from that, and it gives you the opportunity, hey, if a team's going to keep calling you up, calling you down, and playing that game with you, that another team can get you. But yeah, it's just a sticky situation. No one likes it. And you just got to hang with them sometimes.
Yeah, I think I'm the king. I think I did 6 last year. I think I went over the 5 limit last year. It was either 5 or 6. There was a stretch there where I was like a few times, like exactly 10 days in AAA, back off for like 3 weeks, whatever, exactly 10 days. And I mean, Will said it perfect. It's part of the business. It's a blessing and a curse. Teams value those options, but at the same time, it means you can go down. And I was that guy on that Padres team. And sometimes, especially like Will said with pitchers, if they have to throw, more pitches than the team wants to originally, then they just get sent down for a fresh arm. no other reason other than that. That's it. But it comes with the territory, and I like that rule. That the 5 times rule is definitely a good rule. And man, there's also guys who hang around on the flip side of that who don't have any options left, who are maybe like a little fringy, but they hang around because they don't have the options left, and the team values them just enough to keep them, keep it going like that. So, man, it's just it's not fun going down, but it is what it is sometimes.
What's like the logistical side of that? Because like if you're up and down within the span of like 10 days, are you just sleeping in a hotel the entire time? Like, do you even get a chance to like put down any kind of semi-permanent routes or just like rent a place when you're up, down, up, down?
Yeah, I mean, it's usually when you get sent down, you get like a 2-day grace period or whatever it is, 72 hours or 48 hours. So you can, kind of hang out in this. You can take your time really to get there. Then by the time you get there, you sometimes you have no idea. Like you could be down for a month, you could be down for 10 days. Somebody could get hurt and you're back up in 3 days. So, last year for me, I got sent down, and luckily the front office and everyone told me, it was like, hey, you're going to be down for 10 days and you're coming back up and starting against the Brewers. So for me, it was like, okay, we know what's going to happen. We're not going to look for anything permanent. Like if we stay down longer than that, we'll figure something out. But they were like, hey, yeah, you're going down 10 days, you're coming back. So it's like, all right, we'll suck it up and live in a hotel room with me and my wife for a couple days, and we'll figure it out if we have to later. But it's weird, man. It's kind of like getting called up from double A to triple A. It's like, hey, we're gonna stay in this hotel room until we figure out like what's going on, or it's you gotta roll with the punches and try to make any hotel room home as quickly as you can.
Brian, is that same kind of experience for you?
I literally lived in a hotel the entire season last year. The whole year. I went when I was the last cut out of spring training. So I had a place lined up in San Diego. So when that didn't work and I went to El Paso, I was like, I'm not gonna find some place and sign a lease or something when I know I'm probably gonna be bouncing. So I did. I stayed at the field. I stayed at the Marriott right across the field, or right across the street from the field in El Paso. And then in San Diego, I stayed at the Omni right next to the stadium. And that was the whole time, man. I had my car was packed with all my stuff still. I just kind of take stuff in and out of the hotel all the time. And that was it, dude. Up and down. It was, looking back on it, well, it was not a lot of fun, even though they're nice hotels. Like, they get old for sure. But I don't know, man. It's just it is what it is. I'd much rather have been stuck in the Omni in San Diego, and I would have complained about that. But when you go down to El Paso and I'm looking out at Juarez, Mexico from across the way, I'm like, this is it's a little rougher.
I just have never heard anybody really talk about that side of the game where it's like, yeah, I mean, hotels are cool, but like, Brian, you did like 6 months at a hotel. I mean, does that like wear on you mentally, where you just like, you're coming home to not a home every single day?
It started towards the end, it really did start to. And then when the season was over and I got back to my house in Florida, I was like, this is fucking phenomenal. Like, I was so excited to just be back in my house and have my space and, just a normal living room and bedroom, like all that stuff. And God bless my wife. When she came and visited, we were always in a hotel room, just the two of us. So it's, I don't know. You just do it, man. And sometimes you're lucky. Like Will said, they might give you a little idea of a plan. The Padres they like to do things a little more last minute. So I remember one time I went down for 10 days and they were struggling as a team up there. And I had made a little adjustment and hit 600 for the week with, homers, was killing it. I'm like, I gotta be going back. And it was 1:30 in the morning after the game, and I gave up. I fuck, guess not happening. Got a call 5 minutes later, hey, tomorrow morning, come back to San Diego. I'm like, could have told me this before I left the stadium. I'm gonna go back there, get all my stuff now. But it's a great call to get.
Yeah, absolutely. That option games, that's, yeah. I mean, like I said, nobody really talks about that. Will, going back to you for a second, and was it 2020 Christmas Eve you found out that you were going to get traded to Pittsburgh? What was that day like? And were you with all your family at the time? I feel like is that a good or a bad day to get the call that you're being traded?
Yeah, it was weird. It was 3:00. I was at my in-laws' house. Me and my wife were actually just sitting on the couch watching TV, I think. Her parents weren't there though. I think they were out getting something for Christmas the next day, probably the Christmas meal or something. And as soon as the phone rang and I saw, the name, it was our assistant GM in the Nats. I was like, well, I'm definitely getting traded. So let's see what this is like. So he answered the phone. It was a 30-second phone call. He was like, hey, this isn't a Merry Christmas call. this is a business call. We just traded you to the Pirates. They're like, we appreciate what you did for us. Have a good career, and thanks. And like hung up the phone. I was like, okay, that was cool. So then my agent calls, and so Josh Bell, and it was the Josh Bell trade, and he is actually in my agency. So they had known already. They once like the Nationals called them and said, hey, we're trading for Josh. And then they were like, my agent actually was like, hey, who's going back? Is it Wil? And they were like, yeah. So it was kind of like in-house trading. They knew before, so they like kind of waited until I called them. But it's a good experience, you know. I'm blessed. It was definitely meant to be, you know, especially for I feel like my career. It's kind of helped me, you know, relax, take off, and be, you know, who I am as a player. Definitely a weird experience, but it's definitely a good experience because, you know, like some teams giving up somebody for you, and that means they believe in you and want you to be a part of their team. And that's comforting on your side, you know, like, hey, this team wants me. I'm a part of something that they're building for, and it just gives you a little more confidence and, you know, security, knowing that like, hey, they wanted you. So
that's a great way of looking at it. Was it easier to connect with your new teammates, given that you had like 3 or 4 months before the season started to kind of like get acquainted?
So I didn't really know anybody coming in last year. So, you know, you go into spring, it's like a month after spring training starts. So I showed up, I think, like a week early, tried to, you know, meet as many people as fast as I could. And it's really like a whirlwind. You know, I got probably 25 phone calls in the first 3 to 4 days of just like front office staff trying to, you know, introduce themselves and meet. And then you get to spring and it's even more of a whirlwind. You have from the equipment guys to the, you know, the staff, to the teammates, to the guys who are invites, to the guys who are rookies. It's just, there's so many people that you meet within the first, you know, day of getting at a new place. And I'm the worst with names. So I'm like, hey, I'm Tim. Hey, I'm Josh. You're like, him the next day, you're like, I don't remember you. I have no idea. I got 150 people telling me who they were day one. And I'm like, some of them I still don't know their name. I'm like the worst. I feel terrible about it. And I'm like, I'm super sorry. But I wasn't able to meet anyone before, but you know, you quickly hop on that. Okay. You figure out who's important, like not important, but like who you're going to be around more, who's like the people you're going to be around the most time with. And then you're like, okay, let's get to know these people. Can have their names, have their, like, make sure that you respect them and stuff, and like get to know them on a more personal level. So then you know who you're around more, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Dang. Brian, I see you lean forward there. What do you got?
Gonna say a caveat to all that too, on top of trying to remember people's names. You had about 95% of those people he just mentioned having to wear masks that whole time too, so you couldn't even see their face. And then you're trying to remember their names. We had trainers, dude, like the trainers and stuff in San Diego last year, when they finally like changed whatever, or we hit the mandate, whatever it was, and I come in and they weren't wearing masks one day. I'm like, I've known you guys for fucking 5 months. I haven't seen your face until today. And that's, so you're trying to like we'll say you're meeting 100 people and they're all like, you're like this, that's all you're seeing. So it's a tough gig. I've been there.
Brian, I mean, you've been the new guy in a couple different teams. Like which like, how do you kind of go about, you know, making new acquaintances, making new friends? Like what's your strategy when you walk into a clubhouse for the first time?
It started with the Rays, dude. I talk to everybody. I just talk. I don't care. I just talk to whoever. And it's something that like I found out later on that a lot of people from the Rays really liked, that I said hello, that I was actually good at remembering people's names. This was before COVID, right before COVID happened, but I was good at remembering people's names and like saying hello. And there was a lot of people that really appreciated that there. So when I found that out, when I went to San Diego, I made sure to do the same kind of thing. I knew a couple guys at each spot though, so that definitely helped. And then, I mean, coming to Japan this year, dude, that was like, that's a toss up, man. That was definitely harder, but same stuff, man. It's just talk to people, and Will said it, man. You find, there's people you're probably gonna be around more than other. Like Will, I'm sure talks to the pitching coaches more than the hitting coach or whatever it is. So you learn those things, but it just takes some time. You start to get to know everybody. Everybody's for the most part, there's good dudes, and you're pretty similar to at least a couple of guys that are in that clubhouse. So you end up being good friends.
Absolutely. I mean, it's cool, Will, with like the continuity now. It's like you have this great opportunity. Did they have kind of conversations with you when you came over about like, hey, we have 25 starts for you a year. We have all these innings for you. Did that make you feel better knowing that you're walking into a place where you can kind of, have way more opportunity than DC had for you?
Yeah. In DC, at the time they had Max and still Patrick and Steven, and then you had, some guys, speaking on the option game earlier, had less options than me, like 4 of them that were all starters. So you kind of had an idea like, hey, I could ball out in spring training and still go to AAA no matter what. So then you get traded, and there's, you get in the phase, there's innings to be won, and you come in and you perform, and you're gonna earn those. And you go into spring with a different mindset. It's like, hey, I'm gonna go in here. If I do my business, I'm gonna make the team, and that's all that matters. So knowing that you can have that, like the opportunity is better, definitely helps give you more sense of I want to say security, but more sense of like positivity towards it all, instead of like, oh, I know I could go out here and not give up a run in 20 innings in spring, and I'm still going to AAA. So the side of the game that's nice, especially when you go into a new place, that you say, hey, like, we can go in here and do our thing. We're gonna be set up pretty well.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, anytime you can be less anxious, more at ease. I mean, that has to be like huge for your game. So I mean, I've adopted Pittsburgh as my new favorite city as many times as I've been there. Like, what is it like going to like such a great city with great people, and like, what do you like to do when you're in Pittsburgh?
So I have a 9-month-old son. We live right in the Strip District, me and my wife and him. So a big thing that I love to do is we wake up in the morning. I kind of let my wife sleep in some days, and me and my little man go on walks and go get coffee. It's my best thing ever. The city's not too big. I'm close enough. We're right there in the Strip District, is right beside, downtown. So we get up, I feed him, I throw him in a stroller, and then we just go for a little like 20-25 minute stroll. I grab my coffee, and it gets my day going. And it's very relaxing. You don't have to worry about the hustle and bustle of like a huge city. And you can just kind of enjoy it. It's a very homey feeling. Pittsburgh is great. I love it. The fans are awesome. The people are great. I'm very blessed to play there.
It's such a great, but just the vibe of everything is so great. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. What are you a Kelly O's? Are you a Pamela's guy? Where are you going for? What's your diner of choice there?
Kelly O's is definitely on the top of the list. We go to Defer Coffee. It's kind of right across the street from like the terminal. It's incredible. They have this breakfast panini, and I think I get it 5 days a week. And then, so on the other side, on the main street in the Strip District, there's Allegheny Coffee Company, which is just cold brew. It's called Nitro Espresso. And if you're like lagging that day or down, you're not down after you drink that. You can't. It's got to have 600 milligrams of caffeine. And then there's Beitano, which is a newer place. But it's got like acai bowls, turkey and cheese paninis, and it's like Colombian coffee, I think. And man, that's what me and my wife, if my wife's feeling up for it and she's like, I'll go for coffee, we'll go sit there and have our coffee and eat an acai bowl or something. That place is incredible too. We've got our 3 spots that we make our rounds at, but it's definitely the thing that I look forward to when we're in Pittsburgh is waking up, going for my little stroll, and getting my coffee and getting my day going.
Dude, that's the best. Does it ever get old pitching at PNC Park and just having the incredible backdrop behind you?
No, PNC is incredible. I think it's up there, top 2-3 stadiums in the league. We probably take it for granted a lot as players because we are used to it and we're there every day. But some days you like walk out of the dugout for the anthem, and you're looking around and you're like, man, this is incredible. This is beautiful. The other night we played the Yankees, obviously at home, and that first game there was like 38,000 people there. It was a sold out crowd. We walked outside. It's mid or early July, and it had just rained a little bit, so like the clouds were like dark. It was still like light though underneath, like the sun was setting a little bit. It's like 40,000 people. Like there was a buzz in the air. It was like making the backdrop of the city light up, but the sky was dark. And I was like, this is awesome. Like that was that was one of the days you walk outside and you're like, man, you can pinch yourself. You're like, this is fucking cool.
Brian, as the away team, did you just always love going to PNC Park?
I love PNC. It was great for me. I'm from Philly, so it was a quick trip for my family to come out and see when I played at PNC. My brother-in-law and my sister would always come when we went to Pittsburgh. He played football at Duquesne, which is in Pittsburgh, so he loved to go back and see it. But PNC's great, man. I love it there. That backdrop's awesome. Pittsburgh's a cool little city. It's definitely one of the better spots in the league for sure.
Without a doubt. Will, I did want to ask, because in 2021, obviously you led the team at starts, I think, but then in the offseason, they kind of transitioned to this kind of like high leverage relief role. Like, how open were you to that change, and what have you liked about pitching out of the pen this year?
So it actually happened spring training. I was like 3 starts in spring, and Shelty called me in and we had a conversation. And 1 second, let me take it. Got a little itch in my throat, but we had a talk in spring training. They'd said that they were looking forward to me pitching in a different role, that they had been thinking about it for a while. I at first wasn't happy about it. They would tell you the same thing. They didn't expect me to be. But it started off as more like a hybrid thing where I was going to throw, 2 to 3 innings every time, a couple times a week. And I think, how I performed early kind of gave them this, confidence in me, knowing that I can get guys out in high leverage situations. So it's kind of transitioned into a more high leverage role than it was, what they had initially wanted me to do. But I'm loving it. I actually love it more than I think I do starting. I'm really enjoying my time in the pen, and I'm excited about where it's going to lead for me. I think, one reason it's gone, well for me is because I'm a big time competitor. I don't care if I'm playing hopscotch or chess against you or Fortnite or whatever. I want to win, and I really, really like to compete. So with that being said, I have this itch to play and compete and go after it. And it gives me the opportunity to play, more every game than just once a week. And my adrenaline gets going, my heart gets pumping, and I think it brings out the best in me. It brings out, the best in my mentality and the best in my my preparation and everything. So I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving the bullpen. It's really fun to be able to go out there and get the pregame jitters and get everything going when the game's close. Like, all right, let's go. It's time to get ready. It's time to get hot. And that adrenaline when they call down and they're like, hey, Crow's in the game, is like, something you can't mimic. It's the heart gets going. You start letting a few eat in the bullpen, and you're like, all right, it's time to go. It's time to compete.
Dude, that's amazing. Yeah, and this year especially, like 13 and a third innings without allowing a run to start the year. I mean, when I saw that, like, were you in the zone for that 13 and a third innings? Do you think you're in the zone?
Yeah, I think coming into the season, I changed what I was doing this year to last year, and I think that helped me a lot. But I think it's just me being more aggressive. Last year I think I was trying to be too fine and was picking and choosing when I went after guys and wouldn't throw certain pitches in certain counts because I didn't want, crushed, or I was trying to be, like I said. So just early in the year, I wanted to be as aggressive as I could and go straight after guys and, show people that my stuff played. And it was kind of how I was going about it, and it was working. So try to keep it up.
Yeah, no doubt. So, I mean, I have to ask about playing with O'Neal Cruz. I've talked to Brian a little bit about him. This guy, everything he does, he breaks like the stat cast. He breaks records every single night. Like, what is it like having him play behind you? Like, what's that like for you?
Yeah, I mean, he's an electric player. Some of the things he does is wild. I personally like watching him running the bases more than anything, because, like, you watch some of our guys and they take like 20 steps in between bags. He takes like 3.5, and it is incredible. Like, he gets going and it's literally 3 steps to like second to third on a first to third like ball. Like, he touches second base and it's like 1, 2, 3, and he's sliding in. You're like, what just happened? And he's a freak. I call him Baby Shaq. So he's a little baby Phil O'Neal. And he's quiet, good dude, but he's a good dude. I enjoy playing with him. He's a good guy.
Brian, have you seen some of this stuff? I think I tweeted the highlight. He threw a ball across the infield 97 miles an hour. And like every single thing he does, like every ball off the bat's 120 somehow. Brian, have you been keeping up with O'Neal?
Yeah, man, I seen it. He's a big dude, 6'7" or whatever, man. Tall guy playing shortstop like that. I think I ran into him somehow, like somewhere. I can't remember, but yeah, I remember seeing him being like, holy shit, that guy's tall, playing shortstop. But it's awesome, man. I mean, I just think it's cool for baseball to see, have a different guy like that doing this kind of stuff, especially in the infield.
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, because, yeah, you're right. 6'7" as a shortstop. I don't think anybody.
Judge does it in the outfield, but to be that nimble and like in the infield, it's crazy. I'm losing the internet.
It's all good. Yeah, it's just that next breed of shortstops. Yeah, I mean, we started with Cal, and now we're gonna get like Shaquille O'Neal playing shortstop. Yeah, it's gonna be this guy's electric. It's so cool. Well, I did want to ask, like, this Pirates team, like, can you guys in the clubhouse feel that like you're building towards something? There's so much great young talent. Obviously, we just mentioned O'Neal Cruz and Brian's guy Jack Sawinski. Like, can you feel the vibe in the clubhouse that things are kind of like turning a corner?
Yeah, we here as the Pirates, we know we're a good team. You take away, 6, 7 games, and a lot of our losses are like 1 or 2 runs, and it's like one play here, one play there, end up being a deciding factor. So we know how good we are. We know we're a good team. We've said it from the beginning, and inside our clubhouse, we believe, I think, a lot more than a lot of other people do outside of it. But we know that, we have a good month or, a good couple weeks. We had one bad week, we went, or one bad 2-week stretch. We went like 1-13. Like, you take away that, you say we win half of those games, and like, we're like almost 500, you add 6 wins, take away 6 losses. I think we're like 38-39. So you look at it, we know we're a good team. We know we have a good little base of what we're doing here. And we're just going out there and grinding. We're trying to win a bunch of games. We know that we're on the upcome. And we're excited about what's coming, and that doesn't take away from what we're doing this year and stuff. But we're definitely building the right direction.
I watch him every night, and something feels different about this whole collection of dudes. It's so cool. It's a great mix. All right, a couple last things for you. So you're in Milwaukee right now, and are you staying at the haunted Pfister Hotel right now?
Oh yeah, we're definitely here. There's the ghosts are playing with the AC. We're hanging out with a couple of them.
I was going back and I was looking at I know the Cardinals a couple years ago stayed there, and Carlos Martinez had to change rooms, and he went there's just guys that always have these Pfister Hotel scary stories. Did you have any kind of encounters with the some of the ghosts' friends there at the Pfister?
So I think I was telling you guys a little bit. I was playing Fortnite last night. It's kind of crazy, and I was playing with Stratton. 1:30 in the morning, hey, we're last game. Okay, whatever. Yeah, well, we'll see what happens. And 5 people left, 10 people left. We're doing pretty well. And something touches me on the shoulder. And I just told Strat, I was like, hey, I think the ghosts are in here. I got to go to bed. It's time for me to get off. We're going to finish this game. That's probably the first time it's ever happened to me. But last time we were here, I think was the first week of the season, second week of the season, something like that. And we had 4 guys change rooms because at 3 a.m, one guy's TV would go on and off from channels. So he turned his TV off. It's falls asleep. 3 o'clock in the morning, TV turns on and starts going from channel 7 to 20, and then would turn off, and then turn back on and turn off. And then one guy whose AC wouldn't stop changing levels, go from 65 to 80, and then back to 70. Lights will turn on in the middle of the night. Last night, I woke up this morning and my bathroom door shut. I'm the only one in here. I didn't shut it last night. Why would I shut my bathroom door? So there's just weird things that happen at the hotel. It's a part of it, I think. Coming here, the ghosts are going to mess with you while you're sleeping, but you hang with them. It's a good hotel. They got good coffee. So
Brian, any Pfister stories?
No, I don't think anything happened to me while I was there, but when Wil said he was in Milwaukee, it was the first thing I remembered. He's giving me I'm worried about the hotel I'm in right now after hearing these stories. So hopefully these ghosts don't come after me here. Hopefully they're not, but you're gonna have to mess with my boy Josh Van Meter somehow and blame it on some ghosts because he deserves it for sure.
I love that. All right, let's do some rapid fire, and then we'll let you run. So playing with Max Scherzer, is there just one interaction or story that stands out with him?
Ooh. First spring training, maybe second big league spring training. The first game, right? He's coming into camp, throwing 97, good. Max, he's a madman. Comes in the dugout, walking by me and 4 rookies. Granted, this is March, right? Or no, February, the last day of February, first game of spring training. And, everyone's hey, let's go, whatever. And one of the other rookies goes, good luck out there. Whatever. It's a normal thing, Good luck, right? Stops dead in his tracks, looks him dead in the eyes, goes, I don't need luck. And turns around and keeps. I'm we're all looking around. It's that's how ready to go. I was all right, sounds good. Go. Yep. All right, whatever.
That's pretty on brand. Yeah, I mean, what was my favorite one? It was Dave Roberts tapped him on the butt and said, "Good job," and he's don't effing touch me. just built different. Yeah, that's Max is the greatest. So last time we talked about University of South Carolina football. Since then, new head coach, new quarterback, both from Oklahoma. How excited are you with the new direction of the program?
Yeah, I'm excited. Beamer's got everybody buzzing. Got Rattler, who I think is a good player, and there's some positive trajectory for our program, it seems. So I'm excited to see where it goes. I was talking to my wife the other day. We're thinking about getting some season tickets.
Oh yeah.
Getting into some games, taking the little man. I'm excited. It seems like a good time for football in Columbia, and maybe I can start talking smack with teammates and Vogelbach, because he's a Florida guy. So we beat him by like 27 last year. So I was giving yesterday since he was talking smack. So hopefully we up so I don't have to hear it from him.
The vibes are high. I'm really excited for you guys. It's going to be a big year. So I think every single Pirates game I've ever been to, you've pitched, and I never really listened for your walkout song, but I went on last Saturday. It is the coolest song I've ever heard. I think it's Joker and the Thief by Wolfmother. It's a banger. Like, how did you pick that song out? And how sick is it just running through the gates with that thing going?
Yeah, so you have to have a different walk-up song if you're a starter or you're a reliever. And if you're going to be a reliever, it's got to be electric. So I don't know when the first time I'd heard that song, probably sometime with my dad somewhere. But I had it on my phone. I was like, hey, this would be great if I'm a reliever. It kind of gets everyone going, I think. I think that's been the one thing that's been talked about the most of me being a reliever amongst like reporters and like in the clubhouse. Like every time I come in or someone's like, hey, I love your walk-up song. I'm like, thanks, I appreciate it. And I think as a baseball player, that might be one of the best compliments you get. Like knowing that people are satisfied with your choice of a walkout song is like, hey, I've really done it. That is peak what you're looking for. And when someone says that, you're like, let's go. That's all I need to hear is that I picked a good one.
It's an electric factory, especially when you pitch the 8th and then Bednar comes on in the 9th with Renegade by the Sticks. I mean, I don't think there's a better 1-2 combination of walkout songs than that. PNC Park is jumping. Also, in that same vein, how often do you get confused for David Bednar?
Oh, I joke in the bullpen that if we had players unis, like player weekend unis, I would use not Bednar. Not like day. Like I wear yellow cleats every game. Like I made a decision this year to wear yellow cleats. Well, David got these custom yellow cleats made. Like we can't be more different, like, or more similar. And I'm like, dude, you can't do that. Like I did this to art, and we have the same facial hair. The only thing different is he has this like faux hawk in the back. Well, you can't see that with a hat on. So like he comes down in the 3rd inning every game. Like that's when he comes to the bullpen. And I'm there for the first 2 innings. And it's like, David. I'm like, he's not down. I'm not David. And it's like, yeah, you are. I'm like, no, I'm not. You look like David. No, I don't. Like every game.
Oh my God.
Not David. I'm like, exactly. That wasn't David.
That's great.
I thought about that because I was sitting down like the left field line, and I was like, who's warming up right now? I was like, oh, is that Bednar? It's like, no, that's Wil.
Let take off the jersey or take off the pullovers. Like everyone just assume, and it's okay. It's whatever. There's worse people that I could be not recognized by, but whatever. Okay.
I don't think I've laughed that hard in a while. Who's the funniest guy down there in the bullpen? It would be so perfect if it was Bednar. Is he the funniest guy in the pen?
Bednar has some great humor. Bednar is a very funny guy. So it's very dry humor. A lot of mom jokes. But Bednar's got like a 7th grade humor. So like mom joke or yamada. He always says that like classic, like good 8th grade humor. Like you tell them a joke that like probably shouldn't get the laugh that you would think out of like a 25 to 30-year-old, and like soft giggles for like 10 minutes. Dude, you're killing me. Yeah, I would give it the best. But we got some guys down there who are sarcastic, which help. You know, we got a good group. Chase Young's got some good jokes. Pretty funny. No, we got a good group down there, so we keep it lively and active. A good.
I love that. Yeah, I feel like every bullpen in the majors always has like the biggest group of characters. All right, last question for you. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received?
Best piece of advice. Woo, you're gonna stump me for a second.
It's my go-to. Speaking of closer, this is my closer. Yeah.
I would probably say one of the best things I've ever been told was believe in yourself when no one else does. You know, a lot of times growing up, you get told like if you want to be a big leaguer, you say that out loud, and people are like, you'll never make it. You know, you'll never be there. I think when I was in high school, I had, you know, 2 knee surgeries. I had a knee surgery in 8th grade and knee surgery in 10th grade. And both times coming back from those, I was told I would never be a Division I baseball player. That I wasn't good enough, or that I didn't have the body for it. You know, you're in 8th grade, you have knee surgery, put on a bunch of weight. I had 2 big SEC schools tell me I would never play in the SEC. Never play in the big leagues, never get drafted, never this, never that. And it never deferred from me from what I wanted to do in life, and that was play baseball. So, you know, when no one believes in you, you got to believe in yourself. And I think as long as you do that, nobody can stop you from what you want to do. So.
Dang, that might be some of the best advice we've gotten from that question. Dude, this has been incredible. Thank you so much for coming on and giving us an hour of your time. Like I've said, I mean, I go to probably half dozen Pirates games now, and I think that's due in large part to, you know, just how great of a guy you are and how we stayed in touch throughout the year. So I really appreciate it, dude.
Yeah, I appreciate that, man. I appreciate you having me on. It's been a lot of fun. You know, I enjoy doing this, and I hope to see you at PNC soon, man.
You're the man.